Hey guys, welcome to another ride in the struggle bus, where every wheel is an empty triangle. On today's bus ride, one of our passengers stole my booster seat. And it's not that I'm short, it's that this bus is actually a lot larger than you think it is. And so, yeah, I think it was Cho, I don't know. But either way, we're a little short today, and we're just going to have to deal with that. By the way, today we are playing against a 13K on OGS. It's a pretty interesting game that comes with a very late invasion that we have to deal with, and those are always fun. As per always, I'd like to thank our opponent for playing us today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching these videos, and I'd like to thank my patrons for supporting this channel. And don't worry, by next video, I will have purchased another booster seat. I'll use some of the Patreon funds for that. Or, maybe I'll just set the camera correctly and realize it before I start editing the video. One of those two things. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the game. Okay, let's go. We are playing against a 13K on OGS. So let's see how well our friend knows the basics. So we've got a 3-4 and then a 3-5. A nice interesting stone here. I wonder if he's just going to play C4. Did not. So he extends into the side, which is fine. I'm usually not a big fan of random extensions into the side, but it is still a large move. We're going to go approach this. And how do we approach something like this? Who knows? We'll just take a 3-4. I think if you play a 3-3 or a 3-4 here, it makes sense. And then you'll respond to however they respond. So this is a very interesting move. And we've got a couple options. We can look at coming out this way and playing E4. Or we can look at playing something like C6. I'm going to play C6. It is, I think, the easier of the two moves. And we want to keep things somewhat simple in these, though we could absolutely look at E4. And if I remember, when we get to time for review, I will show what we can do there. This is an interesting move. Looks like Black said that he wanted the outside, and then he wanted this side, and now he wants the corner. There's some conflicted things going on here. We moved out this way, though. This was us saying we want to come out this way, and we want to stay consistent with that. So I'm going to take the Hane. We attached to his stone, and he did not respond. And so we should follow up our threat. Okay, he extends. We will simply block our cuts. That is one of our very big rules, is to block our cuts. And then he extends again. So he's building up some influence facing the right. We have this cut that we don't really want to deal with. And so we are just going to play here to get our extension. This helps fix the cut, gives us a nice strong group. And then we'll see where Black plays here. Black Tanukis. I like this Tanuki. I think it is a good move. With him having a stone here, that limits our options. So I'm just going to kick and then extend, get a nice strong group, claim the corner. And that way we don't have to worry about what this stone could do. Often I would look at playing something like P17, but this stone kind of cramps our style there. Okay, so Black decides to descend instead of playing up. We will block this. Again, I just want a nice strong group here. And taking the corner is fine. And we will finish out our shape with this move. So this is similar to as if we kicked and he jumped, and then we extended and he descended and we decided to follow it up, which is something I would probably do here. So Black then plays this, which looks to pressure this group, but this group's already strong. Our corner is already strong. It's already nice and healthy. So we do not need to respond to this. This is a little slow, right? Playing very close to one of his already existing stones, and not finishing out a shape here. A move like this is something we would expect Black to play here, and Black didn't play it. When your opponent doesn't play a move that you were expecting them to play, you can consider playing that move yourself, and that is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this move because this is probably where Black should have played, and so that means it's most likely a good move for us. Not always. It's not always the case, but it is the case here, I believe. Okay, and so he kicks. We have to respond to this, so we are just going to extend. I hope you guys are enjoying the happy kitten noises in the background. They have become a feature of these videos. So black is looking to surround this group, which is interesting because there's a lot of real estate left on this board. These moves are, this is a very central move. Also, we can immediately cut this if we wanted to. We could play N16 and then cut through after they play M16. We're not going to do that now because I don't know what we're necessarily going to get out of this. So instead, I'm just going to extend off of this. I'm going to play a third line stone here because we already have a fourth line stone and fourth line stone. I just want to balance our third and fourth line stones. And then he jumps into 3-3 immediately. We could go either way with this. I am going to go this way. Since we played a third line stone, it's going to give us more strength on this side. And so now we can play this Hane. And black's going to go this way. Okay, so we can respond to this. Black should probably play S2. Because he might die otherwise. But we have a cut here now, so we're going to protect this cut. It's very important that we protect this cut before we go and do anything crazy here. We don't need to kill these stones, okay? And if you try to kill too early without protecting your cuts, all of a sudden things can fall apart. So we're going to do something very similar here. We're going to play this double Hane. We can get away with this because of the R7 stone, which is why I said at the beginning, when we go back a few moves, I said that this stone would help us when I push this way. This is exactly what I mean, is that we can get away with this double Atari. So black comes back and plays this. So black's gonna be real careful. This move might kill black. But we can leave this here for now until black fixes this. We really don't have to worry about this cut because this group is strong and we already fixed the cut here. So now the question is, do we want to extend over here? Or do we want to invade in here? And I think we've got this, but I think both players want to extend in here. And so I'm going to do it first. We need to respect black's strength, so we don't want to play too close because then we could get pincered and we could get into a big fight, and that's something we probably don't want. So I am going to play 3 spaces away. This is actually something I learned from a review that Z-Mike Chen did for me last night. And he said with the 3-3 variations, which this is similar to a 3-3 variation, the wall that's on the outside of a 3-3, you play 3 spaces away from it. So it's easy to remember. You play 3 away from the 3-3. And so I decided to play 3 stones away from that. That's something new that I picked up last night. I'm going to have to look into it a little more other than just like following it blindly. But that is something I picked up. So now black is getting very over-concentrated here. But he's kind of got this like cool like butterfly looking thing going on. So that's kind of neat. But from a shape perspective, this is very, very, very over-concentrated. I feel nice and strong over here. But you want to know what? I'm going to play one more move here. I normally wouldn't play this move, but we're going to do this to further build our potential. I want to see where black plays, and black did Tanuki. So black is playing some sharp moves. He just needs to refine and get them a little more consistent, which is really a lot of what our progress in Go is about, is just finding that consistency, because black is playing some good moves here. Okay, so I think now is the time to do something here. Otherwise, we're going to start missing our opportunities to do it. I think playing the 4th line stone will be a little easier than the 3rd. And so that's what I'm going to do here. We could potentially get into some big fights that we don't need to get into on this board. Okay, and so black falls to the 2nd line. I am going to threaten to cut and then play this, which threatens to take this stone. Black should ignore this, but he does not, and that is okay. So now I'm just going to jump out. We are not going to play an early 1st line move, because I know, guys, it looks like it's Sente, but it's not. Black can just ignore it. If if we play here, black can just go, no, I don't want to do that. And I go, haha, I took your 2 stones, but I get it in Gote, and then black gets his next move. And it's just not worth it. It is just not worth it, friends. So don't do it. I'm just going to jump out. All I wanted to do was break up this area, and so that is what I have done. I can play E19 later. Later it'll be a big move, but not at move 50. Move 50 is much, much, much too early to be playing a first line move. Okay, so black is attaching. So we are either going to Hane or extend. In this case, I think either is perfectly fine. The Hane is the more forceful of the moves, and the extension is the stronger of the 2 moves. So it's up to you to decide what you want to do. If you're never sure, just take the extension. It's safer. It still might not be the right play, but you're not going to like get blown out because of it. As where if the Hane is the wrong play and they cut you, you can get blown out. So in this case, I think we could do either. I am just going to... I think we could do either. In this case, though, the Hane just feels so much stronger because we've got good shape here. And if black descends, we're just going to connect because we do have a cut here. Well, black has to be mindful of the Atari that is here. So I suspect black is going to descend. That's probably what black should do. And we're just going to connect now. We could get greedy and play this, but this cut is going to be tougher to deal with now that we don't have an Atari here. So we're just going to connect. We're going to protect our cuts. Protecting cuts is really, really important. You can get aggressive later, but make sure your groups are strong before you are aggressive. If that's your play style, if you really want to go get them, perfectly fine. But if you leave weaknesses behind, they're going to get you. Okay, I like this move by black. I think this is successful for both players. We were able to make sure that this didn't turn into anything crazy, and black was able to secure, a good like 15 points here. So I think this is fine. I'm going to take this extension now. This was another mutual point that both players probably wanted. This gets our group much more strength, and white and black rather really needs to be mindful of this cut now. Now that we have a strong group over here, black needs to be careful. And black needs to be very careful here. So this is what I was talking about. I said you need to make sure that your groups are strong before you start attacking. Black has some weaknesses over here, so it's going to be difficult for black to do anything here. This is interesting. Black can connect, but I don't know what black is going to get out of that connection. So in this case, I think I'm just going to diagonal out. Just get the outside. I'm still not interested in second line moves, and so I'm not going to play them. And I'm just going to connect here. Again, we want to keep our groups strong. There's no reason to leave this cut here. We can extend, but then this cut might get us later. And so just connect. Again, too early for second line moves on this board. We're going to be getting to the point where second line moves are going to start being important, but we're not quite there yet. And black agrees. Good job, black. I am going to jump out. Again, I don't want to slink back. I want to move out to the important area of the board, which to me is this big old territory here, or not territory, potential, right? This is not our territory yet. Okay, so black is looking to connect, but now, because we didn't play this earlier, we can play it now. It threatens to get these 2 stones. So black is not connected here, but black is still connected over here, so it's really not that big of a deal. So what now? Do we have any groups that are in trouble? No. Does black have any groups that are in trouble? Maybe over here. And if not, where are the big points on this board? Well, the big points are this huge area. So let's do something to ensure that this area is tougher to invade. Okay, so black jumps out here. Not sure what this does for black. So now looking at it, we kind of have this group. It did have a way to connect with this, but maybe now is the time to do something. I think I'm just going to play here And I know what you're saying, Gabe, that's a second line move. And it is a second line move. But we are getting to the point where second line moves are going to start becoming relevant. And this one was really big. If black got this, it was a big move. And so now here we can not worry about it, and we will jump out. If black plays here, we can consider if we want to protect or not. Okay, black touched our weak stone, so we're just going to extend. We're certainly not going to Hane. So now here's a question for you guys. Do you save this stone? Do you guys remember the questions that we discuss when figuring out for saving stones? Question 1, does it affect the life and death status of any groups on this board? Nope. Does this stone have any big follow-ups? Nope. Is it worth a lot of points? Nope. You can have that stone, sir. I'm going to play here. So we get to Tanuki. Notice that black didn't even capture the stone. And if black decides to capture the stone, we get another Tanuki. All for the price of just one little stone. So it's definitely a bargain. Okay, black's looking to do something here. We're just going to connect, make sure there's no cut here, make sure there's no cut here. So we are connected up, and we'll see what I think this is our priority this game. We're not going to focus on points here. We're not going to focus on points here or what black can get or what black can get. This right here is how we are going to win this game. And black agrees. Black says, this is how you're going to win the game. And I said, I know this is how I'm going to win the game. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to block, and I'm going to connect. And black connects. A little slow. So now we're kind of at the point where we're in end game. I'm not going to skip the end game in this one, guys. I understand. You're like, Gabe, we want more end game. So more end game you'll get. So I don't think black can do anything in here now. So let's find the Sente moves. I would say that this is a Sente move. S2 was still probably there. That's fine. I would say that this, while maybe not Sente, it's real big. And I bet black responds. And then we've got this second line move, which is also quite big. Both players want it, and it comes with a big follow-up for both players. So I think we can even play this. Maybe not. Maybe this isn't Sente. This might not be Sente, so I'm not going to play it. But I'm going to play this large second line, which threatens to undercut this. And then I'm going to play this large second line, which threatens to undercut the 5 points he has here. It's really not too much. And so now what do we have? Now we should be looking for large Gote moves. For large Gote moves, we've got something like M13. We have something like Q15. We have something like T16. I actually like T16. We'll go and play T15. It's a very similar move. Black should not fix. There's nothing to fix here. Although we can Atari here and connect. It's really not that big of a deal. Okay. And what next? What next do we have? Maybe saving the stone. Maybe saving the stone is the largest move on the board now. But I don't think so. I think this is probably a little bigger. Just really making this territory something that we can write a letter home to. Dear Mom and Dad, today I made a very large territory. My teacher was super proud of me. She gave me a sticker. Oh, it's go time. It is go time. And I love it when these show up in videos because these things happen in our games. And I'm going to let the Bayomi go so I can discuss the importance of this. This happens in our games a lot, right? Where it's just like, okay, we have sealed this game up, and then our opponent goes, no, you have to deal with this. And so what are we going to do? We obviously need to kill this stone. And so when we look at trying to kill stones, we need to figure out, how is this stone going to live? What's the easiest way for the stone to live? Is it to make 2 eyes, or is it to connect to a group? Whichever way is easier for them to do, you go block that way. I don't think this stone's connecting to anything. So we just need to make sure that this stone does not make 2 eyes. So that is going to be our goal here. We have a cut here. So before anything, we are going to fix this cut. Because if we have weaknesses, those weaknesses are going to be able to be exploited, and our friend's going to find a way to find life here. But now I'm going to challenge him to do something to get 2 eyes in here. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But let's go over how I analyze that. Because these are stressful situations, especially at the end of the game when you're in Byo-Yomi. And you only have 30 seconds to figure out your moves. Black has already given up on that. I find that interesting. Finds that interesting. We will connect here. Will Black play K4? K4 would be an interesting move. If Black is looking to live in here, he could do something like that. Okay, so Black is looking to make eye space. We do not need to cut him. We just need to make sure that there's no eye space to be had. So we will just play here and say there's no eye space here. This is fine. We will block. Again, we just want to make sure that we stay connected, that we don't leave any weaknesses, and that we just go after eyes. We do not need to actually kill stones. We just need to make sure that the group does not find a way to live. Okay, so we are now going to just peep here, which, you know, if Black had played here, it would be a good shape move to try to get eye space. Okay, we can even just play something like this. Black can connect. Who cares if Black connects? It's not an eye. Any eyes Black's going to get is going to be in this area. So as long as we control this area, it is fine. If Black connects, we're just going to push. If Black blocks, I'm going to connect here and cut off these stones. Okay. Black looks to use this weakness, and we are going to block. And are we going to block this way? We'll just block this way. It's more forceful, removes a liberty from this stone. And here, we actually don't care if Black pushes because we can block. So I'm just going to push this way, which is going to limit how Black can move. And if Black pushes, we will block. And if Black tries to disconnect, we have a group to attach to here, or connect to rather, and we should be fine. So now Black looks to connect up. Where should we play here? What is the move? Where do you think we should play here? We want to make sure that Black doesn't get any eyes. Do you see a place that Black could play that could potentially get him some eyes? I do. It's right here. And so I'm going to play here to make sure that Black cannot play this and get any eyes. This is a reasonable move. You know, trying to get something going, but I'm going to play right here. Just going to disconnect, make sure that this group is connected, is nice and safe, and Black's, you know, probably given up on these stones, which means that maybe he's going to try to get eyes in here. It's going to be really tough to get 2 eyes in there, though. So Black tries for this weakness. So Black is doing a good job here. And it's very possible that if he was playing against a weaker player, that these strategies would work for Black. You know, that is one of the downsides of these games is I know how to do the things, right? And so that's why I'm trying to teach, okay? We're just going to play here and threaten this cut. And you can kind of see how there's really no eyes for Black to be had. We don't need to take the cut. We don't need to kill anything right now. We just need to make sure that Black can't live and that we don't create any weaknesses for us. And so now we can play here and block, and now we're connected up. Okay. Notice I'm not taking this cut because I do not need to. Okay. But now I might. Now I might take this cut just to ensure that we are alive here. And so that is what I will do. Because white separated us here. So let's make sure that this group is 100% alive, which it is now. And let's make sure that we're okay here. Are we going to block? Are we going to block? We are. Are we going to do this shape? We are not. We are going to play the extension. We are not going to play an empty triangle. We are going to extend. This still threatens to cut here. And now Black plays here. So how is black going to live? Black is going to try to get 2 eyes. So let's stop black from doing that. We're just going to play something like this. We're just gonna be poking at the eye space that black is trying to get. So now we can play something like this. We can play something like this. We have many, many options. I'm just going to play this. It threatens to connect here. It threatens to connect here. And it threatens to push and connect here. And so this is just a very vital point. And you can kind of see that black's, really tried. Black really tried to get something going here. But after all this, no eyes have been formed. And so I think black is eventually going to see that the writing is on the wall and there's nothing that can be done here. Okay, so now I think this is still bigger than this one stone. Notice we never protected that stone. And black still hasn't taken it because it's not that big of a move. Though, with my next Sente. With my next Sente, which is right now, I am going to protect it because it is a fair amount of points on this board. So we have T6, we have A11, we have M19, all as moves. Do we need to fix this? I do not know. I do not think so, but I'm going to. We're going to make sure that there are no weaknesses here because we know if this group is dead, we are winning this game. Okay, let's play T6. Comes with a follow-up at T5. And black's like, I'm ignoring you. And that's fine. That is fine. I like being ignored. I will play here. He'll connect. I will play here. I don't think this is Sente. I want to see if, curious to see if he responds. I mean, he needs to respond to this. But I don't think this is Sente, just because of all these third line stones. But he did decide to do that. We'll play here, just to tidy this up. I've missed a big endgame move. So this is actually really important to go over. This move right here is potentially around 5 points. It's big. It's surprisingly big. Because if B gets this, then these 3 are points for black, and A4 is not a point for me. But if I play A2, then only C1 is a point for black, and A4 is a point for me. So it's like a 4-point swing. It's really big. It's much bigger than it looks. Okay, that is fine. We will go and connect here. And we will connect here. Just keeping this very straightforward. We want to make sure that we don't get blown out here. And so we will play here to connect. We're not going to play the empty triangle. Empty triangles are bad. We're going to play this instead. And then when he pushes, we're going to play this empty triangle. Well, this one's a power triangle. Okay, we will connect. And we're just going to finish this one out. I think we will block here. We don't need to do anything here. Tari's there, we connect. I'm just going to keep it real safe though and play here. There might be some Aji there. We will connect here, and yes, I did make an empty triangle there. But this group has more liberties now. Okay, so at this point, I really do think that this game, things get interesting here. Things get interesting here. I was gonna say it's over, but now, black just let us in here for a reason, and now we get to go and carve away a bunch of points here. That is unfortunate. Probably like an 8-point loss there. So now I think we are pretty much done. So I will see you guys at the end of this game. Okay, so here we are at the end of the game, but before we get into the review, I am curious. This is how the game ended. Both players passed here. It's black's turn. Is there something that black has on this board? So that's going to be your question. I'm not going to answer this one. I want you guys to answer this one in the comments. If you're black here, is there anything on this board that you see that that you can do? So anyway, let me know in the comments if you would pass here as black, or if there's something that you see that should be done. Anyway, let's get into the review of this game. Okay, so here we are in the review. And I mentioned during the game that our friends, did did fairly well here. Again, he's 13K, so he's on the lower end of where I'll typically play these games. And I think he made a lot of good moves. And it's just a matter of consistency, which is really what it comes down to. I know that's really what we're trying to do here is to shave the mistakes away that we're doing. Interesting opening, which is fine. The only concern I have is when we're playing this, we should, when we're playing an unorthodox opening like this, we should really know like some of the variations or the theories behind why we're playing this weird move. I think you guys should absolutely experiment with moves like this, but don't just play it to play it. Have a reason, or at least know some of the follow-ups. Anyway, I mentioned I don't like these random side moves. We can play on the side here. This is fine. But I would either want to play up nice and cozy to one of my stones or extends close off of one of the cornerstones. I'd still want to go for one of the corners here. And so we played here. I mentioned we could have played this as well. This is kind of saying I want the corner, and this is kind of saying, I want this, you can have this, we'll both be happy. But Black said, no, I don't want you to have that, which is fine. This tells me that Black is looking to get influence. Okay, that's what this move says to me. These two stones says, I want influence, you take the corner, which is a perfectly valid way to play. I like influence. I like influence quite a bit. So maybe I'll play around with this opening. Either way, I mentioned in the game that really we should just be looking at these two moves. These are the only two moves we should consider. And I played A. B would be the much more fighty move, right? And how this variation plays out, there's going to be lots of ways this could go. I would expect Black to Hane here, at which point I'd expect White to extend. And what does this turn into? No idea. This looks like it could be a little chaotic. Something like this. This is going to be a fight. And so I really can't say what this is going to turn into, because it's going to go any number of ways, and we would just have to use our fighting prowess to get through this, and making sure that we're staying connected and that we're nice and strong. And if Black wants to do something like this, White could play here to try to develop a base, and then maybe Black plays here to try to surround. Who knows what this would turn into? So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep the simpler option. Here, I'm unsure. As Black, I'd probably just extend, right? If we are playing this again and we're saying we want the influence, we should probably be consistent with that. Just extend and maybe do something like this and go, yes, White, you can have the side. I want the influence, which is why I played this way. This looks like a perfectly fine result for Black, in my opinion. I don't like the placement of K17 if this is our plan, but this is fine. Playing here, Black's just kind of, shifting again as to, trying to figure out what he wants, and gives us, I think, what is a very vital point in this shape. But this isn't terrible, and I think if Black had played something like this as a good extension off of this, or better yet, played this, and if White backs off, now play this, I think this would be a great result for Black. This looks totally reasonable. You've got a very strong wall over here that already has some eye space, and we're using that strength to go for big potential here, really asking White, what are you going to do about this area? So this would have been a really slick way to go about it. This is just, I think in the wrong spot. I really would have liked to have seen Black approach here. But this is a big approach as well. This is a little off. We don't want to play second line moves. Too early for second line moves. We want to play these third and fourth line stones. Right. I was expecting this, and then White can decide if he wants Q11 or R11. Probably Q11 to work, to get the influence here. We've got some third line stones here, so we're looking for probably territory up here, and influence. This would work well together. Looking at this board, you could give me either color. I'd be happy with either color here. I might actually prefer Black because I really like influence. So, but doing this, White could have played here and just taken the top, which would have been a little awkward, right? I kept it very simple and played this, and this breaks one of our rules, right? I know not to play a second line move, and so maybe I should have just played this. I should have just played this and been like, hey, this is the move to play, and so mistake for me as well. And then Black plays here. This is a little too close to everything, honestly. This group's already strong. this is just just a really random extension. I would have liked to have seen black finish the shape here, or if we are playing over here, go big. Play a big move. Ask for a lot. Don't ask for, crumbs. This really doesn't do too much. It lets white Tanuki, and in this case, I take the move that I think black should have taken. So, so now we don't really force black to surround. As black here, I probably do jump out. I don't want this group to get surrounded. But it's unfortunate that black would have to play central moves and let white get these third and fourth line stones, which we ended up taking anyway. And then black jumps in here again. Would have loved to have seen black approach from this side to help build off of this wall. And, it would probably be a situation like this now. And maybe I would pincer because I've got this stone. But let's say that white just did this. Black could play here, again, challenging white to do something about this, or play here, again, challenging white to do something about this. So, but playing in here gives me the ability to match influence with influence. And so now we both have strong walls facing one another. And so this is pretty much all the influence here has been completely neutralized. And so we basically traded this corner for this side. But again, black needs to be real careful because this is a tricky situation. If black plays here, then the corner dies. If black plays here, then the corner dies, I think. Yeah, it doesn't look too alive. Kind of looks unalive. Dead, that's the word. So it's definitely a tricky move. But I decided to play away, and then unfortunately black is playing on the wrong side, too close to his strength. Recognize that this wall is strong and go here. Maybe take this exchange first, right? And if white wants to do this, now come here, maybe, or go and take this and then come after this. It's hard to say, but playing on this side just lets white off way too easy, and now all of a sudden this area that black did have control of with this really nice influence has become all whites, and this entire area became whites. So this was obviously a shortcoming, though I do like the artistic little butterfly that we have here. It is quite nice. Okay. And then black plays here. Great move. And so, like I said, black does have a lot of good moves in this game. It's just making, trying to eliminate the bad moves from our play. So I approach, black plays here. This seems reasonable. I was just expecting this, right? This would be fine for both players. But this doesn't seem too bad. It just gives me some forcing moves. And remember, I mentioned that it's too early for first line moves. Don't fall into the trap of playing this. And I know you're like, well, Gabe, this is Sente. I know if he played D19, he's going to answer this. And so then I get this for free. But the thing is, our friends might also be watching these videos. And it's possible that he's taking notes. He is studying. I'm gonna learn those rules. And then he's playing in the game, right? He's playing in his game against you. He makes this move, and he goes, I broke a rule. I played this too quickly. I can't believe I just played an early first line move. What a big mistake this was. I even have the rules written down right here. And then you play this, and he goes, whew. Okay. I caught my mistake in time. Now I can do what I want to do. And so now all of a sudden he plays here. And we do this, and then he plays here. And he fixes it. He fixes everything. And you go, haha, but I get your 2 stones. But you get them in Gote. Okay. I guess it's not truly... I mean, there are follow-ups here, right? Because there's a snapback. And so now, maybe we need to protect this. But also maybe we don't. Because if white wants to take this one, you go, have it. Have the whole corner. Take all that while I just go and get all the points on the outside. And all the strength on the outside. Or get this great move. And so it's like all we had to do is give up these 2 stones and we get 2 free moves. And if your opponent doesn't see b19 because it's a tricky move to see and just captures, then yeah, you just get 2 free moves. And all you had to do is give up those 2 stones. And so if we follow our opponent's mistakes, they might realize that it was a mistake and they might take that Tanuki. So in this situation, do what I do. Don't play those first line moves. Just jump out. Okay. And then black attaches. I think the attach was probably a little much. If we're going to do that, let's take this Atari first, I think. That way we don't have to descend. This is much less scary, though this is hard to see, right? This is hard to see in a game, and I get it. But I think we need to do something other than just connect, even if it is just play another third line move. But yeah, because letting us get this Hane was a lot, but you know what? This is very similar to what the other result looked like. So now, yeah, so this is where I mentioned, playing this gets my group some strength, and we're eyeing this cut now, right? If black just ignores and plays a small move, now all of a sudden this is problematic because we've got a strong group over here, and black has a weak group here and a weak group here. So I mentioned, before you get aggressive, you need to fix any weaknesses that your groups have. Okay, and so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I want to make sure that this group is strong, so that there's no counterplay on this. But black isn't doing that. If you went too hard on this attack, then this group really would have suffered and potentially would have died for it. But here, he looks to connect, which is fine. If you are not familiar with how this works, if we try to cut, right, black will cut. And if we go to capture the stone, black will play here. And we connect, and black will play here. And so this, I guess, isn't truly connected because it's up against a wall. But it's not too bad, right? We can do something like this. And so black continues to take the outside. But I was going to let black do that. I wanted the outside here. Anyway, the turn was good. This was a little small. And then, yeah. And black still probably doesn't need to play this. It's still only 2 stones. Black has an escape here that he can take. So if he finds a bigger move on this board, maybe even this, playing here, it's okay. It's okay. And black can do something like this and go and break into the center and, give up 6 points or so and just be done with it. But yeah, he lets us get Sente and we take the big move. And now we just start taking all of the big moves. And then we get to here. And this was, this is the example of me ignoring a stone that can get captured, right? I was talking a lot about how we can give up these stones, and so this is, doing what I say, not just me doing what I say, rather than just giving out the rules. We don't need to save the stone. We don't. So we played away, and again, imagine if black played here, and gave us yet another move. In this case, we do have a cut. So it's a little awkward, but I still think we're fine. And if we get, another move on this board, say it's something like this, like it was absolutely worth giving up that 1 stone to get this stone and this stone. And black agrees. Black's like, I'm not even gonna take that stone. I didn't want it. I didn't want any of it. So now, yeah, unfortunately, if black wants to do anything in here, I think it's too late right now. I think it is too late right now to do anything. But black could try with something like this. And I probably would just block. Because if I block here, he can run out this way. If I block here, he can run out this way. Okay. But if his goal or his plan was to invade in here, you can't play moves like this. Because now I have a solid wall. And now a move like this simply doesn't work. Because I can just block the one exit that I care about. Okay, and so playing all these moves just lets me build my wall, and then we take all the endgame moves, and now there's absolutely no invading this. And black tried valiantly, and I will give him credit. He used what weaknesses I did have. What weaknesses this shape does have, he did go poke at. But it's too late And then, yeah, this is one of the shortcomings of, you know, these sandbag series is I'm going to outfight him, right? We know that, but it's possible against some of you guys, because he did fight pretty well here, that maybe he would find a way to live, and so that's why it's important to go over how to handle these fights, which we did in the game. So I'm not going to go over it again because I do think Black did a fine job here. I don't need to reiterate these moves. You know, I kind of went in pretty good detail during the actual game, what happened here. So anyway, that's where we're going to leave this one. Thank you guys for coming out for another ride in the Struggle Bus where every wheel is an empty triangle. Have a good one, guys.